James McDonnell got his chance. The U.S. Army Air Corps solicited proposals to design a new experimental fighter.
They really wanted to break the mold. They wanted to come up with something very different.
It was the kind of challenge McDonnell was ready to take on. Design and build a plane that tested the limits of aviation technology.
And that's really where he got his start, deliberately trying to build an airplane that did not look like fighters that were around then.
McDonnell began with an engineering concept that had long intrigued him, maximizing the aerodynamics of an airplane by seamlessly blending the wing and the fuselage into one smooth, continuous surface. The Army Air Corps responded by awarding the company a contract to build 2 prototypes. They gave the plane the designation XP-67, the X for experimental.
The XP-67 was an exercise in extreme aerodynamic efficiency. It was very smooth, no corners on it, everything was concealed. It's a lovely looking airplane, reminiscent of today's stealth designs.
But McDonnell wanted the engines that powered the XP-67 to be as advanced as the design of the fuselage. He wanted the XP-67 to exploit jet technology. From their inception, aircraft were powered by piston engines that turned propellers. But the speed of a propeller plane has a limit. When the tip of the propeller approaches the speed of sound, shock waves are generated, causing instability. Jet engines do not generate the same debilitating shock waves. They draw air into an internal chamber where it is compressed, mixed with fuel, and ignited, creating thrust. Jet engines are built for speed. In the early 1940s, the development of the jet engine was just beginning. But James McDonnell understood if jet engines could be made to work, they would take a plane higher and faster than any existing piston engine.
At a time when most people were ignorant of the jet engine, he knew what was coming. He was looking way ahead.
McDonnell secured a $20,000 contract from the Army Air Corps to research jet propulsion for aircraft. When it lapsed, he committed the company's own funds to continue the research.
McDonnell was not held back by the piston engine mentality, and they could think of things and come up, develop concepts that were not yet available.
In December of 1941, McDonnell wrote a note to himself in his journal.
Sell Army XP-67 with jet propulsion.
A move from a piston engine to a jet engine would have been a great advancement on this XP-67.
But the choice of which engine would power the XP-67 was not up to James McDonnell.
It's wartime. There was definitely a sense of urgency in getting weapons of war out from design stage to test stage to operational stage as quickly as possible.
The Air Corps rejected McDonnell's request, insisting instead that the XP-67 be paired with a conventional piston engine made by Continental Motors. Once in the air, the XP-67 received positive reviews. One test pilot wrote, "The general flight handling characteristics are delightful, and it handles exceptionally well." Continental's piston engines, however, were underpowered and prone to overheating, which would have devastating consequences. On a test flight in St. Louis, the left engine caught fire. The pilot was able to land, but the fire spread.
The first experimental airplane they had, one of the engines caught on fire and burned up, the airplane burned up, and that was the end of that contract.
But the XP-67 had proven that McDonnell Aircraft was a company willing to challenge conventional thinking.
One needs to just take a look at that aircraft to show that he's someone who is definitely not afraid to think outside the box.
Experiments often fail. The XP-67 never went beyond the first prototype that was built. But the thousands of advanced jet fighters that McDonnell Aircraft would one day build are the legacy of this remarkable and beautiful plane.